our nation's first museum, the Australian Museum, the past is conserved for the future to enjoy. From curious species to a treasure trove of artefacts, you're sure to find something to spark your interest. This wall, for example, is part of the original building. It holds a lot of history and helps continue the story of conservation. Opening in 1827, scientists, curators, conservationists, and educators have spent nearly 200 years collecting approximately 22 million objects to tell our unique and amazing story. There are so many exhibits to enjoy. You can come face to face with nature's giants, learn how certain animals are the same as others, or see extinct species. You may be asking if you'll meet any animals on our journey throughout the museum. The answer is yes. Follow me to the Wild Planet exhibition. I'm here with Megan Dean Jones. She's a materials conservator. Do you have a favourite specimen of the Wild Planet exhibition?
I've got a few, and usually they're the ones that I've had to do a lot of work to. So the black marlin, I was one of the conservators working on that, but also the white rumped vulture was a favourite because it was pretty challenging. It had one half wing totally missing, and so you can't put it on display like that, right? Especially if it's natural science, because if the public see this thing and they think, oh, that's what they look like, they only have half a tail or they only have one ear, that's really not good enough. So you have to address that issue, and sometimes it's a lot of fun. You have to create that half tail or that extra ear that's missing.
Can you tell us about the most interesting specimen in the exhibition?
To me, the eye, which is under one of the iceberg shapes at the end of the exhibition in the nocturnal area. It had ears that were quite bent and had to be humidified, so we reintroduced water to make them go back into the, like a dried leaf, if you like. To make it sort of go back into the right shape, you have to introduce moisture and then slowly but surely you reposition it.
Why is conservation so important?
I think it's really important because we're trying to protect the collections for future generations to understand how things were and how things change over time. Also with Wild Planet, a lot of it is about trying to educate the public to appreciate biodiversity. Some animals have gone extinct, so it's about trying to make people care.
This is the Tree of Life. It shows the connections between many species and how everything is related in some way. The museum is trying to preserve Australia's biodiversity. Can you find your place up on the Tree of Life? Maybe I need to get my photo up there. Here's the Sumatran Tiger. Tigers are the world's largest living cat, and just like human fingerprints, the stripes on their coat are unique to every animal. How amazing! Look at this huge brown bear. Bears can stand on 2 feet for short distances to help them smell and hear. Do you think it can do a handstand? This is Jumbo. He was one of the first ever elephants to be imported into Australia. Weighing over 6 tons, elephants are the largest living land animals. We're now at the nocturnal section of this exhibition. These specimens have been preserved for you to enjoy. From the bats to the eye to the Tasmanian devil to the owls, all these creatures are the creatures of the night. I'm here in the theatre at the Australian Museum, and here is Fran Dory, who is the exhibition project manager. What does that exactly mean? What do you do?
It's a pretty simple term for complex job. So my role is kind of 2 parts. I have the creative part where I lead a project team that we create the exhibition. So we come up with the ideas, work out how we're going to tell the story, what interactives, what objects, write the text, all that kind of stuff.
Why did you select the specimens in the Wild Planet exhibition?
Okay, so that was a complex project. Originally the idea was we wanted to get out all our non-Australian and non-Pacific specimens which hadn't been displayed here for many, many, many years. We had a policy of only doing Australian and Pacific stuff, so the museum decided to get all the specimens out that have been sitting there. Now some of these specimens are 140 years old, really old taxidermy specimens. Some of them are brand new for the exhibition. So we decided to go through and get as many of the specimens out as we could.
Why is it important to conserve our history?
Okay, so I've got a history background, so I'm always going to argue that you should conserve history. I think somewhere like a museum, so we have cultural objects and science specimens. So we're preserving people's cultural heritage. So we have groups that can come here and see what their ancestors were doing 200, 300, 400, 500 years ago. If we hadn't preserved those, there wouldn't be that there for people to look at and for other people to come and see that material as well.
Wow, what an experience. We saw some amazing things, chatted with some awesome people, and learnt some new facts. The Australian Museum and its artefacts are so important to our nation's history, and I'm so glad I have a better insight into the behind the scenes of this place and what makes it so spectacular. The past is conserved for the future to enjoy, and here at the museum, there are so many awesome things to learn right at your fingertips.